All right, for our client Wesley, who is highly trained, highly active, he wants to work out at a vigorous intensity. So we're going to prescribe something over 60% of his maximal heart rate. Narrowing that a little bit, 75 to 85% to give him that window. And we're going to use the heart rate reserve method to calculate this intensity for him. So first step, we're going to take 220. So I'm going to put first step here. And y'all bear with me because I'm holding my phone while I'm doing this and I'm using a computer calculator. So first step, 220 minus his age. Let's see what that is. Which gives us 201. And that is his theoretical heart rate max. Okay, next step. We're going to take that maximal heart rate and subtract his resting heart rate to get the heart rate reserve. Now, Wesley's resting heart rate is 75 beats per minute. So let's calculate that. 201 minus 75 equals heart rate reserve, which is going to be 126. Okay, so that is his heart rate reserve. So how much of that heart rate we have to play with beyond his resting needs. So what his body needs at rest, we're looking at the stuff we have to play with beyond that. So now we're going to apply our percentages. So first, let's do our lower end of our range. So we're going to apply to 126, the heart rate reserve, the lower end, 0.75. Let's see what that is. So that would be 94.5 beats per minute. Step 4, we're going to do our upper end of our range, which is going to again be 126 because we're taking that heart rate reserve times the upper end of our prescribed range, again, in that vigorous intensity level. So let's see what that is. 126 times 0.85, which is going to be 107.1 beats per minute. Okay. Step 5 for the lower end, we've got to add back our resting heart rate. So we're going to have 94.5 beats per minute plus back that resting heart rate. Okay, which is 94.5 plus 75, which is 169.5. So basically, he is working. If that's the lower end of that range, that's pretty intense. Now we got to do the same thing for the upper end. Right? So we're going to take that 107 piece, 107.1 plus 75. Let's see what that is. It's 182. So his heart rate range that we want him to stay in for his training zone to have a very vigorous bout of exercise is going to be 169.5 to 182.1 beats per minute. Now, practically, the way I would prescribe this is I would try to give him a goal to stay over 170 beats per minute, and I would give him some intervals here because that's a really high level of intensity. Okay, so here's the actual calculation, what you get, but think about how you would actually put that into practice. If I was telling someone to, on their heart rate monitor, be between 169.5 and 182.1, that's ridiculous. Their heart rate monitor isn't going to give them decimals in the first place, so that's just silly. But then two, you need something that's easy, especially at a high level of intensity. You don't want them to have to think a lot about how to monitor that. Self-monitoring skills need to be pretty simple. So saying between 170 and 180 would be a pretty clean way to prescribe that. So when you're actually writing out an answer, yes, I want the exact, but then in a sentence, give me how you would cue that for an actual client. That's where we're bridging the theory and all these calculations to actual practice. You need to be able to implement it in a way that is manageable for your client.